The Philippines were ceded by Spain to the US in 1898 following the Spanish-American War. They attained independence in 1946 after Japanese occupation in Second World War. The 21-year rule of Ferdinand Marcos ended in 1986 when a widespread popular rebellion forced him into exile. In 1992, the US closed its last military bases on the islands. The 1987 Constitution, promulgated after the removal of the dictatorship and restoration of democracy in 1986, contained provisions assuring autonomy to local government. In the same year, a proposal for decentralization made by the Department of Local Government led to the organization of a joint Legislative Executive Committee. The committee was entrusted with the task of formulating policies on how decentralization and the expansion of local autonomy should proceed.
I am Flor Halili of Del Rosario, Barangay Del Rosario, Naga City. I live here in the relocation site. I am the president of an organization, the UNC ASCA. We are engaged in livelihood development. In the barangay, I represent the urban core sector, and we participate directly in the planning and budgeting of this barangay.
The Local Government Code of 1991 is the most comprehensive piece of legislation yet passed on the subject of local governance in Philippines. It sought to decentralize the Philippine state broadly, the transfer of power and authority from the central institution to the lower or local levels of the government system. The code provides for the creation of local government units at the provincial, city, municipal and barangay levels. Local government units are classified according to their annual income, population, and land area. Philippine cities are categorized either as highly urbanized cities or component cities, remain under the general supervision of the provincial government where they are located. With the enactment of the code, independent component city was added in the classification. The country is geographically divided into 79 provinces, 115 cities, 1495 municipalities, and 41,959 barangays. The local government structure starts operating from the governor's office at the provincial tier. The head of a province is called a governor, the head of a city or a municipality the mayor, barangay is governed by a barangay chairperson or captain. Every local government unit exercises powers as a political subdivision of the national government and as a corporate entity representing the inhabitants of its territory. The governors, the mayor, and the barangay chairpersons exercise administrative and executive power. Legislative powers of provinces, cities, and municipalities are vested in local legislative councils called Sanggunians, with the vice governor and the vice mayor as chair. Barangay is the lowest tier of the local government system in the Philippines. As a political unit, it functions as the primary planning and implementing unit of government's programs, projects, and activities in the community. Municipalities function in the same manner as that of the cities. The only difference is it consists of less developed barangays. The city coordinates development initiatives within its bounds, delivers basic services and governs the inhabitant within its territory. It is composed of more urbanized and developed barangays. Naga City has built a reputation for being a model local government unit and a center for innovations in local governance. Naga is the example of a consistent and persistent flow of information from the local government to its citizens and vice versa. It has succeeded to introduce efficient ways of informing citizens about their roles and responsibilities to participate as equal partners.
First of all, we have passed 2 local laws. The first one is the People Empowerment Ordinance that in effect compels City Hall to accept non-government organization representatives in all the special bodies in City Hall and all the standing committees in the City Council. In effect, you have an unelected City Council sitting at the committee level of the City Council, where they're part of the quorum, they're part of the deliberation, they're part of the debate. The second one is the I-Governance Ordinance, which compels City Hall to publish everything that is necessary for people to engage with City Hall, including budget procedures, response time standards. The I-Governance also requires City Hall to publish a Naga City Citizen Charter that should be updated every 3 years. By compelling City Hall to do it, in effect, we are providing information, free access information to the residents of the city. Now, these programs are embodied in the local law, meaning we're interested in institutionalizing these initiatives. And the only way to institutionalize them is not to bank on the leadership of City Hall, but to bank on laws and ordinances that will require the future generation of mayors to engage with the constituency of the city.
The province, as a political corporate unit of government, serves as the dynamic mechanism for developmental processes and effective governance of local government units within its jurisdiction. It is composed of component cities and municipalities. The governors and mayors are empowered to carry out emergency measures during and the aftermath of disasters and calamities. Local development councils are bodies in local government units which are tasked to initiate comprehensive multi-sectoral development plans. They are to assist their corresponding Sangunians in setting the direction of economic and social development and coordinating development efforts within their territorial jurisdiction. Responsibilities in the delivery of certain services, including health, agriculture, public works, social welfare, and aspects in the development and conservation of the environmental and natural resources and tourism, were devolved to the LGUs by national government agencies.
Our municipal development plans entirely emanates from the barangays. It was being formulated, or it is formulated practically with the total involvement of our barangays, particularly the municipal development council and the members composed of the barangay chairman. So after the formulation of the plan, it was submitted to the Sangguniang Bayan for its adoption. Once the development plan is already formulated and submitted to the Sangguniang Bayan, prior to its approval, the Sangguniang Bayan will first call a public hearing in order to gather the absolute polls coming from the community. So during the public hearing, the people can raise suggestions and further inquiries for the improvement of the plan.
Local governments have the power to create their own resources of revenue in addition to their equitable share in the national taxes released by the national government, as well as the power to allocate their resources in accordance with their own priorities. The major sources of locally generated income are the business taxes and other local taxes and fees and charges. The externally sourced income of LGUs consists of shares in the Internal Revenue Allotment, popularly known as IRA, proceeds from the utilization and development of the national wealth, loans, credits and bonds, and grants or subsidies. Local government units have power to negotiate and secure financial grants or donations from local or foreign assistance agencies. The code upholds the right of registered voters to institute the process of recall against any elected official whose performance has not been satisfactory. Directorate of Interior and Local Government (DILG) is the link between the central and local government. Through this directorate, the government provides logistic support to the local government.
We are here to assist the local officials and their functions because there is a devolved functions or transfer of power from the decentralized form of government and now to the more autonomous or localized form of governance. So the DILG has more to do on equipping these barangay officials, the municipal officials, to become more efficient and effective local public servant. The Department of the Interior and Local Government is also taking full supervision on the Philippine National Police. Being the presidential arm of the government, we are molding the police force to become more efficient, like the things that we do to the barangay officials.
The Local Government Academy under the Directorate of Interior and Local Government is the national training and development institution for capability building towards innovative and effective local governance. The Local Government Code also institutionalizes different leagues, namely League of Barangay, League of Municipalities, League of Cities, and League of Provinces.
The League of Municipalities of the Philippines is an organization which is composed of all the municipalities all over the country. And right now, we have at least 1,501 member municipalities all over the country. It is represented by the mayors themselves. The purpose of the League is to crystallize, to articulate, and to ventilate all the issues concerning the municipalities all over the country. Its main focus is to be a mediator between the national government and the member municipalities to deliver the basic services to its constituents.
Powers and functions of the League is to assist the member municipalities in accessing funds, in finding resources from the local and outside of the country.
There are two more associations of the mayors: Lady Municipal Mayor Association of the Philippines and Muslim Mayors Association.
And we feel that there is a need to organize as the lady mayors because there are issues and concerns that are sometimes left behind the organization. For example, on the violence against children and women, we have put a women's desk in every municipality and the office of the police. And especially to the barangays or the villages, in these remote villages, we really have the voices there. As women, we go to the barangay officials to promote different policies on the protection of women and children.
The code further encourages the participation of the private and social sectors by mandating their representation in the Local Development Council, Local Pre-Qualification Bids and Awards Committee, Local School Board, Local Health Board, Local Peace and Order Council, and other local bodies. There are many organizations contributing to the improvement of governance in Philippines. Galing Puk Foundation is a pioneering program to recognize and promote innovation and excellence in local governance. Their mission is to promote excellence in local governance through recognition, sharing of information, and support of efforts to replicate best practices at the local level. There was a long struggle and movement of the NGOs and civil society organizations before the 1991 code passed. They are still struggling for some amendment in the code.
The local government code may have opened the opportunities for NGO participation at the local government level in local governance. But as we have been participating, we have been engaging LGUs, there had been, looks like there are some things, there are some limitations in terms of how we can go about participation. For example, there is no sanction for a local government unit who is not able to convene the local development councils or the local special bodies. But what is the use of getting accredited if these local government development councils or those special bodies are not convened and do not meet at all? So where can we participate? So that's one of the things that we would like to get into, that there will be sanctions for local government units who do not follow the law. We do not know where or so, but we have already expressed this to the oversight body for local governments. So that's one, that's at the local government code. But then there are other laws also, for example, the executive order which mandates the creation of the Regional Development Council and the participation of the private sector representatives in the Regional Development Council. The law is limited in terms of the number and the representation of sectors. So it put a ceiling on the number of NGOs, the private sector, who will be represented, but it doesn't make all sectors, the relevant sectors, the basic sectors represented because of the sheer limitations in number. That's why we are pushing for the amendment of Executive Order 325. The executive order is being issued by the President, and that we have initiated as private sector representatives, as NGOs, POs, for its amendment, so that the basic sectors will really be represented.
It took a long time and struggles to get the local government code passed towards achieving a decentralized governing system in Philippines. Now the decentralized structure is set up, people can participate in the decision-making processes, and the quality of governance has been improving. But still there are promises to keep and miles to go.